Hi, everybody. This is Jim Corkins, and we are about to talk about Lab 2, and specifically Lab 2 Kinematics Accelerations Investigations 1 through 4. All right, I'm going to click on that. And when you do that, it sends you out to more, just like your homework assignments. Now, when I hit Start, it's going to actually open up the lab through it's a more based lab, but it's held through Canvas, just like your homework prompts. So this is a walkthrough lab, okay? There's no videos associated with it, but there are sounds and there's kind of some fun parts to it. So this is about accelerated motion in one dimension. And what I mean by that is speeding up and slowing down in one dimension, right? So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go through, and there's some drop downs. There's a drop down here and a drop down here. You're supposed to answer these questions, read this area, answer these questions. These are kind of like pre-lab questions, and go through that. And then what it does is it gives you a question right here, and you've got a ball rolling down a track. And then it's asking you right here to describe the answer, the motion as far as which direction it's moving, if it's rolling down this ramp in the positive x direction, and then what will it do as it does that. And then it's asking you these questions, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to answer these questions, and then you're going to have to construct a graph. So this part where you're constructing a graph, a position versus time graph, a velocity versus time graph, an acceleration versus time, you're given these tools, right? There's a little simulation. If you click it right here, it shows you, it'll basically show the ball rolling, okay? So if you're not clear about a ball rolling downhill, I don't know why it showed you, but if you'll notice also from this, it's got the positions here at different points, right? So this is a 0 position and further and further. And I believe this is referred to the height, the 2 and the 1 and 0. Those are the heights. Those are little stacks of little things holding up the track. Okay. So what you're supposed to do is, based off of that motion, an object moving to the right and is rolling downhill, so it will be speeding up. You're supposed to construct these 3 graphs. Now, you're given different tools. So I'm going to just tell you the velocity versus time graph and the acceleration versus time graph. You're going to use a straight line. So let's do this one together. The object's moving to the right and it's speeding up. So it's starting from rest. So its initial velocity is 0. And what you're going to do is you're going to drag this other end, and it's going to be speeding up as it's moving to the right. Oops. And I think you don't have to be perfect. You just have to get it close. Incidentally, if you drag this thing off to the side, like if I drag this part here and drag it off to the side, the line disappears. So that's how you get rid of a line if you have one. But I'm going to drag this here, and this looks like it's speeding up as it's moving to the right. Oops. Keep doing that. And you can see I've done this lab a couple times, and I'm making some mistakes sometimes too. So just make sure you drag it to the side there, and that looks good. Okay, now in a velocity versus time graph, the slope is the acceleration. That looks like a positive slope. So I'm going to grab that line. I'm going to drag it down here, and I'm going to drag the initial here as that point right there. I'm going to drag this other end over. So it's going to be a nice straight constant acceleration. And you can see maybe I shouldn't get it all the way to the edge, just like right there, just there. That looks good. Now the problem is with this position versus time graph. So I'm going to grab this. Now at first when I went to if you drag this line from the middle right here, you can move this line around pretty easily, right? However, if you try to drag this line from the middle, it just kind of bends, and it kind of bends it really overreacts, right? So what I'm going to do is drag it by parts. I'm going to drag this is the initial position here. I'm going to drag it up here, and then I'm going to drag the final. I'm going to drag the middle of the line. Okay, calm down. It's kind of going crazy. And then I'm going to drag this over here. So I know its position is increasing with time. So actually, I'm going to, if you grab the line right here, you can grab and move the whole line. So connect the initial dot there. I'm going to drag the final dot and drag it over here. And so I could tell you that this is going to look kind of like this. So what I did is I dragged this one. Actually, if I hit clear here, or I drag this part off to the side, it'll disappear. And I'll do it again. So I drag this. I didn't hover over one of the dots. I hovered over one of the line itself. Drag the whole line there such that the initial dot is at the initial position, x is equal to 0. I'm going to drag the final dot at some further position, and I'm going to use this blue dot to kind of bend this such that it looks like it's speeding up. And I might even get this even higher, right? Right there. Looks like it's speeding up. So you just have to, when you're constructing these graphs, the reason why we're kind of doing this video is it kind of shows you how to do those graphs, okay? All right, so again, do these drop downs, answer these questions to the best you can. These are going to be numbers, and then create your graphs. Okay, if you, like always, if you have any questions, please contact me. All right, I hope you enjoy this lab.